continuing series of me running my mouth about physical media. This is my copy of Spring, directed by Benson and Moorhead. I'm trying. I had a stash for some reason of various little bottles. Some have been gifts and various things like that, and I have never gotten around to them. So I'm trying to actually get around to drinking them. This is Tullamore Dew. Maybe I'm saying that right. Irish whiskey. It's fine. I don't know if I have developed a taste for whiskey yet. I've certainly had whiskey cocktails that I have enjoyed, but straight whiskey, I don't know if I'm there yet. Gonna be honest, but we'll see. Anyhow, Spring by it's Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson. They've done, actually more recently, they've worked with Marvel Studios doing they did like half the episodes of Moon Knight, and I think they've directed something else for the MCU TV, for like Disney Plus TV, but I can't remember what. But they are a duo who's been doing movies now for more than 10 years. Their first one, I am blanking on the name of it. It's something like Recurrence or Research, something like that. I don't remember the name. I'm just completely blanking. But then they did The Endless, which I really enjoyed. They did one, I think it's called In the Dirt, which they made during lockdown a few years ago. Anyway, I like their stuff. They make efficient, low budget, good looking, well performed, interesting films with clever and unique scripts. What more can you ask for? I said it when Moon came out back in, was that 2010, I think, when Moon came out, not long after Avatar. And Moon cost something like a 20th of the budget of Avatar, and I thought was a better script, better acted, and better looking movie in spite of it having a minuscule comparative budget. I know part of the reason why the budget was so small is because there was also another big strike going on at the time, and they were able to get some talent at lower costs, some of the effects people and such. But still, it was a really excellent and well done film on a low budget. Spring is a really well done, excellent film made on a low budget. What is Spring? This quote here from First Showing, which I have no idea what that is. It says, "Stunning, a monster movie disguised as a love story." I argue it's actually a love story disguised as a monster movie. A young man who has gone through a lot of bad stuff in life relatively recently, he decides that he is feeling aimless, feeling trapped, and almost literally because the police want to talk to him about something. And he decides that he's going to, he heard somebody went to India and found themselves. So he's decided he's going to travel and find himself and also not deal with the cops. And he ends up, just through happenstance, going to Italy because there's cheap flights. While in Italy, he becomes friends with a couple of drunken Brits who are on some kind of debauched, the reason why when you travel in Europe, everybody seems relieved that you're an American and not British because of this kind of British holiday where they're just being loud, obnoxious, and drunk and causing all kinds of trouble in various locales. Anyhow, he hooks up with them for a little while, travels for a little while, and then gets to a small town and meets a girl. That's the basic premise. Now, where it goes from there is in some odd directions, and I like it. I like that it's got a little bit of a cosmic horror, a little bit of a Lovecraft kind of thing going on, but it's not overboard. It's not actually. I mean, there's some horrific stuff in it and a little bit of gore, but it is not a a gory or ultra violent or whatever. It's more unsettling, haunting, just kind of like it's kind of, I almost want to say mellow at the same time. And I feel like that's kind of part of the Benson and Moorhead thing. Because you look at The Endless and think about a comparable movie to The Endless might be something like Midsummer, which is just so upsetting throughout with shocking violence and just like all this stuff going on. But then you watch the Endless, and I actually find The Endless sort of more interesting and maybe a little more unsettling because it's so mellow and matter of fact and kind of relaxed about everything. And it doesn't shock you with something, these horrible visceral visuals. It just kind of gets under your skin instead. And I like that. And now this does have a few shocking visuals, but for the most part, it just sort of gets under your skin a little bit. But it's also a kind of a cute romance. It's an awkward romance, but it feels honest in a way that not every romance does. It reminds me in that sense, another genre film that also has a solid sort of good chemistry between the leads. I don't know if it's so romantic in the film, but that would be Monsters. The film with Scoot McNairy and his then girlfriend, who I believe they are no longer together. But anyway, and that's an early one from is Gareth Edwards that directed Godzilla. I think that's correct. And the Star Wars movie that he did that was really good, Rogue One. I believe that was his feature debut. Don't quote me on that. Anyhow, Spring. For Lovecraft buffs, for people who like weird romances, and for people who just want to look at some beautiful Italian small town living, I would definitely recommend checking this out. And look, it's on Blu Ray, it's physical. The studios can't just take this away from me at a whim. Like, apparently, as of the time of recording, I heard that whoever owns MTV, which is, I think, Viacom, just basically scrapped, totally deleted the entire history of MTV News, and I think other stuff too. But like, they didn't put it into an archive. They didn't give it to the not National Archive, Library of Congress. They didn't do anything like that. Apparently, they just deleted it. And that is what we are facing right now. These companies are willing to literally just burn culture to the ground. Whatever you want to say about MTV. But don't focus on the fact that it was MTV. Focus on the fact that there's 20 years of cultural reporting and news of its time and moments of its time. They are willing to burn that to the ground for a tax write-off. You cannot trust the studios with preservation. You cannot trust the studios with art. It's luck that they ever greenlight making art in the first place. You cannot trust them to preserve it. So get physical media, show movies to your friends, spread the word. This is our culture. It's how we tell stories, through film, through books, through all this stuff. Don't let these companies just take it away from you. So anyway, that's my little physical media thing, which I feel like I'm going to have to chat about a lot. Check out Spring. It's really cool. I don't know if I really sold it as well as I should have, but it's a neat movie. Check out Benson and Moorhead's films. They're really neat. Whatever the movie that starts with R, that I believe is their feature debut, which I will probably forget to write in a pinned comment, but that's what I'll do if my brain's functioning, which it won't be. That movie actually does set up some stuff. It's interesting to watch that movie before or after seeing The Endless, which I also really recommend. I saw The Endless without having seen it, and then went back and watched it. It was like, whoa. Anyway, Spring, check it out. Until next time, and I rant about something else, I'm sure.